Alrighty, ladies and gents. Look, before we get off into this, like the video. There is no reason why y'all should not be hitting thumbs up. As soon as you get the notification, y'all should be liking the videos. For those of you who are already subbed, I don't know why y'all don't like the video as soon as the motherfucker pop up on your feed, right? Let me plug the joint. There are only two times talking about sex early triggers women. Most men miss this. Again, there are only two times talking about sex early triggers women. Most men miss this, right? So when we talk about two scenarios where bringing up sex early makes women feel some type of way, most men misunderstand both. And there are scenarios, these two scenarios, a lot of guys find themselves in one or both of these scenarios at various times while you're dating or dealing with women, right? Now, let me just say this real quick, because I want guys to understand something. This is not complicated. This is really elementary. Now, I might talk about it in such a way, I might articulate it in such a way where I give a lot of detail and it might appear complicated. This shit is easy. Dealing with women is easy. There's nothing difficult at all about dealing with women. It's very, very simple. Women are very easy to deal with. And I'm not saying women are easy per se. I'm just saying women are easy to deal with. Period. They're not hard to deal with, right? There are only two times talking about sex early triggers women. Most men miss this. Okay, let me say this real quick, because I want guys to understand. There are two scenarios or two situations, if you will, where women don't really mind and or they really don't care if you bring up sex. There's two scenarios or two situations where if you brought up sex, it wouldn't really be a big deal, right? The first scenario where it really wouldn't be a big deal is if the woman has no sexual interest in you and she has no desire to want to use you. Like, this is the type of woman that's going to reject you right now. Okay. There is no amount of smooth talking you can do. There is no amount of money you can spend. There's just nothing you can do to get her to fuck with you. That woman does not care about you bringing up sex. She don't care, right? She just flat out doesn't care, right? The second scenario is when a woman is actually sexually attracted to you. She doesn't care either. In fact, she's elated that you brought up sex. Why? Because she wants sex to happen. Guys got to remember this, right? Women are passive or passive aggressive. That's a woman's nature, to be either passive or passive aggressive, which means when women are dealing with men, even when it comes to men they are sexually attracted to, most of the time, women are going to elect to be very subtle about their sexual interest. And they're going to let you figure it out, and you're supposed to be the driving force behind making sex happen. Okay. Now, every now and again, you might have women who are a little more assertive or more aggressive, and they might let you know straight up they want some dick. But for the most part, women are going to be very subtle about it, right? Because they're passive. The problem with a lot of you guys, you're just like women. You're passive. So when you approach a passive person being passive, you're not going to be able to pick up oftentimes on what they're really showing you because you're passive, right? But when you're more assertive, now just understand something about being assertive. Essentially, what being assertive means is you imposing your will confidently. Let me say that shit again. What assertive means is you, on any given situation, whether it's professional, dealing with family members, friends, sex, dating, whatever it is, all assertive really means is on in any given situation that you find yourself in, you impose your will on those situations confidently to get what you want out of those situations. That's what being assertive means. Most of you, you're not that, right? There are only two times talking about sex early triggers women. Most men miss this. Now, again, I gave you two scenarios where women typically ain't tripping, right? The reason why the woman who's rejecting you right away isn't tripping is because she has no horse in the race. She doesn't want anything from you. She don't want your time, your dick, your attention, or your money. So she doesn't care, right? And of course, the woman who actually wants to have sex, she wants you to initiate the conversation. Or at the bare minimum, she wants you to initiate the flirting. So that way sexual attention is created. So that way she can do her part, which is flirt back and to subtly let you know, hey, if you want this pussy, you can have it. Right? Now, let's get to the title though. There are only two times talking about sex triggers women. Most men miss this. So I do have 5 core talking points that I'm going to get to in just a moment. Hold on, y'all. Give me a second. 5 core talking points, right? I'm going to get to in just a moment. Again, we're talking about two scenarios where women appear to be triggered because you broached the topic of sex, quote unquote, too soon or too early, right? Now, the first scenario, right, where a woman may be triggered or will be triggered is when she has no sexual desire for you at all. However, she believes she can use you. She believes she can use you for something, whether it be attention, time, non-sexual attention, sexual intimacy, affection, or possibly even money or dates, right? She feels there is something that she can extract from you because she knows you are attracted to her. I tell you guys all the time, you will come across some women who don't want to have sex with you, but because they know that you desire them, in many cases, they're going to use your desire for them as leverage to try and get something out of you, although they know they will never have sex with you, right? And the reason why many of you miss this is because you're indecisive, you're passive, you're very vague with what you want, so the woman has room to play games with you because you haven't made it clear. Now imagine if you bring up sex right away. What have you done? You've literally pulled the woman's legs from underneath her, meaning she can't play with you now. Because you brought up sex so soon, she's like, fuck. Now that he's bringing up sex and he's very assertive about it, I really don't have any wiggle room to manipulate him and to pretend that sex can happen because he's already bringing it up. So now I have to address it, right? She has to address it. So if a woman knows she doesn't want to fuck you and she's trying to manipulate you so she can extract attention, money, resources, or whatever it is out of you, how might she put the brakes on the sex talk and try and get you to get back on the non-sexual shit? She might shame you. She might act offended. I don't know who you think you're talking to with that. I'm not some hoe that you're used to. I don't get down like that. I'm a full-grown woman out here. You have to date me. You just can't get in my bed. Like any variation of a woman kind of going off on you or shaming you or reading you the riot act or giving you the third degree because you brought up sex and how dare you. Number one, it's all bullshit, right? It's all posturing. And the reason why she feels some kind of way is because she had plans on using you and you threw a monkey wrench in that shit by bringing up sex, right? Now, the second reason or scenario or time that a woman will get triggered or may get triggered when you bring up sex, quote unquote, too soon or too early, is when she is a combination of sexually interested in you. I mean, you can say sexual attraction, but we're going to say sexual interest, right? And there's a reason why I'm going with that phrase, right? She's a combination of sexually interested in you and she's highly interested in you dating her. She's highly interested in you dating her, meaning she wants you to deal with her beyond just sex. However, there's also sexual interest there. Now, when you bring up sex early on or quote unquote too soon, the reason that woman might feel some type of way, right? Stay with me. Give me a moment. The reason why she might feel some type of way is because the men that she is highly sexually attracted to, the men that she pretty much lusts for, right? She's gonna have sex with those men. But inevitably, what happens to all women at some point is although they're willing to engage in casual sex with those men they are super attracted to, what happens is they're gonna fall for some of those men along the way. They're gonna be sexually attracted to these men. These men are gonna fuck the shit out of them. I mean, and fuck them well, repeatedly, right? So along the way, these women are gonna be dealing with these guys and they're gonna start to fall for these guys a little bit. And they're gonna start to hope and even wish a little bit that those guys would take them more seriously, that those guys actually would like them. So at some point, women get frustrated, right? Because as much as women love dick casually, they still want to be dated. They still want to be cared about. They still want to deal with men that they are attracted to who give a fuck. At some point, all women want that, right? So if you are a guy where a woman is a combination of sexually interested in you and she's highly interested in you dating her, and you bring up sex too soon, she's gonna feel like, God damn, right? And she might say to you, really? We was everything was going so good in sex, huh? That's the only thing on your mind, huh? That's when you see me, you just want to fuck me, huh? And that's coming from a source of frustration because it's not that she's not down to fuck you. It's just that her interest or her agenda to be dated by you is stronger than her desire to fuck you. Now, remember, I said she's a combination of sexually interested in you and she's highly interested in being dated. The reason why there's a disconnect is because the desire to fuck you isn't strong enough for you to be talking about sex so soon, at least if you let her tell it, right? There are only two times talking about sex early triggers women. Most men miss this. Now, all of this can be easily solved. All you got to do is be direct. Let women know what it is you're trying to do the very first time you meet them. The very first time you meet them, let them know what it is. And you're going to know right away if a woman calls herself getting offended, it's not because of her boundaries. It's not because of her standards. It's not because of her morals. It's not because of her virtue, right? It's simply because there is some things that she wanted from you that had nothing to do with sex, but because you're bringing up sex so soon, you're interfering in her getting what she wants. That's the issue. Being direct solves all of that. 5 core talking points, and about to get up out of here. Number 1, Why women already decide sexual interest before the date. Why women already decide sexual interest. Now, I told you guys before, there is sexual interest and then there's desire, right? So a woman can be sexually curious, sexually interested in you, but the desire to want to have sex with you still needs to be there, right? Remember, sexual attraction is just interest. Sexual desire is the action. That's the woman's action. That's her taking action to make sex happen. So if a woman sexually desires you and you let it be known that she can get the dick, she's going to take action. The only women who don't take action are the women where there is no sexual desire there. Maybe there's sexual interest, but the interest in something else beyond sex is stronger than her interest to fuck you, which is why it never gets to desire, which is the action that a woman takes to actually have sex. Remember, I said women are very intentional and very deliberate about sex. When women want to have sex, they are very intentional and very deliberate with whom it happens with and when. And when. The more sexually attracted a woman is to you, she'll leave the when to you. Repeat what I just said. Don't let that go over your head, right? I don't care if you meet a woman face to face and you talk for 2, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then you set up a date later on. Or if you meet a woman on a dating app and you set up a date. Before the date, in both scenarios, women already know. Sexual interest is decided before the date. For every guy who's ever had sex on the first date, right? I'm talking about legitimate, genuine interest and genuine attraction on your part and a woman's part, mutual attraction. If you've ever had sex on the first date, the woman knew before the date that she was sexually curious about you. She knew she was sexually interested in you. Usually, what made the sex happen was the date drove the desire, meaning the interest and curiosity was there. When she got on a date with you, you just confirmed that her sexual interest was legitimate. You validated her sexual interest. She's like, I was right about him. He gonna get this pussy. Or you invalidate her interest. You say in or do something goofy. And she says, not him, right? Now, the second point, the difference between sexual expression and sexual seeking. Again, the difference between sexual expression and sexual seeking, and it goes to the title, right? It goes to how you broach the topic of sex, how you articulate that, the verbiage, the vernacular you use to express yourself to women sexually, right? It tells a story, right? Again, are you expressing yourself sexually or are you sexual seeking? PUAs, they seek sex, right? Again, the difference between sexual expression versus sexual seeking. See, when you are truly a sexually confident man, you know what you can do in bed. You don't need to brag about it. You don't need to highlight your services in the bedroom. You don't need to let women know all the different tools you have in your tool belt and your toolbox and your tool shed. You ain't got to let women know all of that. Less is more. I tell you guys, less is more. I've had sex with dozens upon dozens of women where I never said anything overtly sexual or raunchy at all because I already knew she was sexually attracted to me. So all I literally had to say, tell your friends good night. You'll tell them all about it in the morning. I've literally told women that. Tell your friends good night. You will tell them all about it in the morning. Basically, when she at home and she called friends, she can tell them all about what happened the night before with me. I didn't say nothing about sex because I already knew she wanted the dick. I don't got to say nothing about sex. When you actually understand how to foster an environment where not only are you comfortable being sexual with the woman and expressing your sexuality, but the woman reveals to you her sexual expression. That's where sexual tension happens, right? PUAs, they're pussy beggars. A lot of you guys, right? The moment you start talking about sex and you call yourself trying to seduce women with all that wordy shit y'all say, you sound like you're trying to convince her. You sound like a pussy beggar. You sound like you're seeking sex. Instead of you expressing your sexuality, you're trying to convince her to let you fuck. Women know the difference, right? Number 3, how men unknowingly expose insecurity through sexual escalation. Again, what happens when you guys still are shit and you try and use that shit while you're talking to women? Women be like, oh, really? Tell me more. Oh, really? You want to get to know me in a more intimate way? What do you mean by that? And then soon as you start talking some more and you call yourself trying to escalate sexually, she sees all your insecurities. Oh, look at him. You don't really know what he's doing. I don't think he could please me if he tried. But he's trying to convince me and himself that he can do it. Not interested. Right? Number 4, the emotional lens women use when interpreting early sex talk. The emotional lens women use interpreting early sex talk. This is what guys have to understand. Women have had experiences with good lovers, bad lovers, exceptional lovers. They've had experience with confident men and insecure men. So when a confident man is talking that shit, she knows what she's hearing. In fact, she knows what she's feeling. But when she's dealing with a guy who lacks self assuredness and he lacks the conviction and the passion in the words that he's spewing, she knows you're a fraud, right? Guys have to understand that attraction is an emotion, the emotional lens women use when interpreting early sex talk. A lot of you guys, when you talk about sex, nowhere in the equation does the woman see herself enjoying it. What she hears is how you just want to poke on her for a little while to get your jollies off, right? Number 5, why restraint often signals more sexual power than pursuit. I said earlier, right? How I've dealt with women, how I've had sex, same night, same day, and I didn't have to say, let's go fuck. I want to have sex with you. I can do this to you. I can do that. No. The woman made it clear. She was intrigued. She was curious, interested, and even anticipating when it could go down, right? So there's no need to try to keep saying a bunch of shit. Like a lot of you talking. And what you're trying to do is, oh, I'm trying to get her mind with my words. I'm trying to ramp up the sex talk and be more seductive so I can get her mind. What you're showing is you don't have any restraint. Again, why restraint often signals more sexual power than pursuit. See, when you're pursuing, you're showing a woman that you need to be validated. That, hey, let me show you I can please you sexually. Let me show you I can satisfy you. See, a guy such as myself who shows restraint, I know I can please her or any other woman for that matter. There's no need for me to try and prove that I can. There's no need for me to obloviate and all of this. There's no need for me to do all of that. Again, quiet confidence. Why restraint often signals more sexual power than pursuit. There are only 2 times talking about sex early triggers women. Most men miss this. If you guys start being direct and stop being scared, start being more decisive and intentional with what you want to do, you will find out in the first conversation whether or not you can fuck or not. Within the first conversation, you can find that out. Get some coaching. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace.